welcome to day 4 of Vlognica. Today I'm doing a collab with Michelle.
Hello.
You definitely have to check her out. She is all good things body positivity over on Instagram, YouTube, her book. She also wrote a little thing in my book doing it, so...
That feels like a lifetime ago.
I know. Long time collaborators, but
Yeah.
first time video collaborators. In this video I wanted to chat about surgery because I have had 2 surgeries this year. And how many surgeries have you had in your lifetime?
15? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like my most similar surgery to you would probably be obstructed bowel. That's kind of, it's the same body part, right?
Yeah. And that's kind of like what...
I get really confused between small bowel. I don't know anything about my conditions. Let me just start with that. My last major surgery, I got a complete obstruction and then I got a partial obstruction, which is the one where you wait it out. Where like I was in hospital for 6 weeks waiting it out.
My second one was basically adhesions, which is like scar tissue caused by the previous surgery developing and creating like kinks and stuff in my small bowel.
That's so strange because my first, well, why I had an obstructed bowel was because of adhesions from my previous surgeries.
Right, there
We're
we go.
basically the same person.
Except for then you've had like 13 more surgeries.
Yeah, but those are all in the past.
Those are all in the past. So the reason why I wanted to talk to you about this is because after my first surgery, when I was very lost and confused and just a lot of new things had just happened to me, and I knew that you'd gone through many surgeries. So we met up for lunch and I think we were there for like 3 hours or something.
We
like
were
it was
there for a while.
It was a long time, and that chat that we had was so helpful for
I'm so
me.
glad.
It really was, like, just in terms of like, this happened to me, and you just being like, yep, tick tick tick, those all happened to me too, and I'm just like, okay. And
but
like,
it was the weirdest conversation for me too, because I talk about it a lot online, but I've never actually spoken in person to someone who's gone through it. One of the things we've talked about is like hairy bellies.
yes, oh my god, the hairy belly thing. So one of the things that I said to Michelle was like, my stomach is hairy. Like, I don't understand why my stomach is suddenly hairy. Like, is it like trauma to the body and like hair growth, da da da? And Michelle said,
They shave your stomach before they do surgery on it. They but this is the thing. Again,
they don't tell you this.
I didn't realise this from a doctor, and I never had that conversation ever.
When I had my second surgery, I asked the surgeon beforehand, I was like, are you going to shave my stomach? And they were like, yep. And I was like, confirmed! Confirmed, they do this. So yeah, that was huge, because I was just like, what is happening to my body? Because all of my hair was falling out as well.
Yeah.
Did you have that, like with your hair?
Yeah,
falling out?
so I found that out through my hairdresser, because I was like, my hair's falling out, and he was like, the anaesthetic is what's making it fall out. I'd watched previous documentaries around alopecia, and I was like, I have alopecia.
I thought I had alopecia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I like, the hairdresser, thank God, was like, no, it's because you've had an anaesthetic, it's just the chemicals coming out of like your scalp, essentially.
I did some Googling. I don't know how accurate Google was, but it was about like trauma to your body, and like hair growth just like doesn't happen like when you go through like extreme trauma. And apparently your hair is in like 3-month cycles. So it's like 3 months after the bodily trauma, you'll start to notice it all falling out. Yeah. And then you'll notice it falling out for about 3 months, and after that it will stop. And that is exactly what happened to me. I've known people in my life, like including you, who have had surgeries, and I just don't really know what to say, how to react. It's just like, oh, that must have been hard. And then as soon as I had my surgeries, a lot of my friends who had had surgeries before reached out to me. You can like talk details with them. Yeah. Like, oh yeah, I had this tube and then like this thing. I feel like when you're in hospital as well, it's like those little details matter so much, because your days are boring. Like there's nothing happening. So I don't want to be like, hey, all you people who haven't ever had surgery, you can't understand me, blah, blah, blah. But what I have found is like with friends who have gone through surgery,
there's a different level of understanding.
There's like a different level of like, oh yeah, that tube, oh yeah, that anaesthetic, oh yeah, the compression socks. The
first time I properly started having those conversations was when I was writing my book. And so my friend would be like, oh, what chapter do you write today? And it was a moment I said to them, I'm writing this part where I threw up on myself in hospital and I had to lie there for 3 hours because I couldn't reach the call button. And it was the first time my friend was like, for the first time I understand what you went through, because I have the experience of throwing up on myself and going on a night out. And like, you tell me like, oh, you had 15 surgeries, a brain tumor, punctured intestine, I get overwhelmed.
It's just like, what does that mean? Yeah.
But you say the feeling of throwing up on yourself, and then like I can relate it to, I've thrown up on myself on a night out, but then I tidy myself up, and you having to sit in it for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Because you literally can't bend to like reach the call button. He was like, that's the first time I've actually like, not empathized, but like got it.
Yeah. On the days when I wasn't allowed to eat, and I had like these sponges that I would like wet.
Yeah.
Were you allowed those?
And you dab your tongue.
Did you?
No, I wasn't allowed.
You weren't
I wasn't allowed
that?
water either.
No, I wasn't allowed water,
But post brain surgery, you're not allowed water for like 24 hours, and you're very thirsty afterwards. And they would dab your tongue. And then you graduate to ice chips, and then you graduate.
Oh,
yeah.
See, this is the thing. They're like, ooh, luxury. Like, I remember the day I went up to yogurt. Like, oh, that's
or
a
like
big day.
your first meal, your first proper meal, like, and then you find out, oh wait, no, it's a liquid diet first, and then you can have your first proper meal.
It is really slow. Like, I remember the first day that I was allowed to drink anything. They were like 30 mils.
Yeah, and they have to measure it, and then they measure your pee and. So when they roll you from side to side, did you have the agonizing pain in your stomach? Because like when you say you have no stomach muscles, people don't understand.
You can't open doors. You can't stand up straight.
You can't turn to the side.
Yeah.
You can't sneeze. You can't cough. You can't like.
You're given a pillow. Like, I was given, like, towels wrapped around, and the physios gave me that on, like, day one, and they were like, if you're going to cough, if you're going to sneeze, press this against your stomach. And I was like, okay.
But a sudden sneeze is the worst in the world.
I still get it. I'm, like, 5 months or something post my second surgery, and sneezing still hurts me.
I saw your video of you doing exercise, and I thought it was wonderful, because the number of times I tell my audience I'm doing exercise, and they think, and to this day I do, like, such small exercises like that. And I'm doing it so I have a tube down my neck, and I'm doing it a lot for my shoulder at the moment. So it literally this is an exercise.
Yeah.
And so when I tell my audience I'm working out, they genuinely think I'm like pumping iron.
And you're like, no, I'm just contracting my core.
This is exercise. Like, this is me trying to not lift my shoulder up. Like, and that's hard work. There was a time when I was like begging for a grain of rice. Like, because first it started with an M&M.
I was having morphine dreams and hallucinations and like all sorts of weird stuff, and there was one where I was like face planting into like just loads of rice. No, rice.
Oh really?
It was rice.
So I started with an M&M, and they said no, it would, like, even if you did eat, it would have to be bland. So I was like, a grain of rice, like But it was, I went on Instagram and started searching food pictures as well. Did you do this?
No, I didn't do that.
Because I thought I was literally losing it.
I had a list in my notebook. I have like a hospital notebook where I like made all these lists, and one of them was food I want to eat when I get out, and all of it was burger restaurants. What was your favourite thing about hospital?
People being at my beck and call. That's so bad. I was in the ICU for 3 months when I was 11 years old, and I remember being like, moving to the normal ward and being like, I have no attention anymore.
In the UK, at least, like the ICU, there is one nurse to one patient. Depends on like how ill you are, how much attention you're going to get. And I remember getting bumped down from being one of 3 to being one of 6, and just being like devastated.
So I went to one of 1 to 1 of 10. And I was like, I had been in the hospital for 3 months by that point. I was like, I'm playing pranks. I was raising the bed. I was like, we were like pushing each other in the wheelchairs. That's what it's like when you're a child in hospital, and then becoming an adult in hospital. Like when I went into hospital at 19, I was like, not much fun anymore.
No, because everyone around you is like 50 years older than you.
Yeah, so everyone in my ward was like 90. Did you have an NG tube?
Yeah.
So I was a baby about my NG tube, and the nurse literally turned to me at one point and was like, there are 90-year-olds who live with this. Just put the bloody tube in and stop pulling it out. And I was like, this is not nice.
I was one of the people that was very good about my NG tube, and the woman next to me kept on pulling hers out.
Yeah, I pull mine out like maybe once every 3 days.
Like, why would you do that though? Because then they have to put it back in.
Yes.
It goes up your nose and into your stomach.
But it's the fact that, can you imagine
you can
being
feel
stabbed in the back of your throat every time you swallow?
Yeah, you feel
like,
it.
That's
constantly.
what it feels like. The only thing getting me through the hospital experience was the fact that I could sleep. And I was like, this tube means I can't sleep now.
I would have to like sleep in a certain position and like have my neck a certain way and like with my mouth wide open.
Yeah.
Like, in order to like try
relax
and like
it.
relax it and like not be able to feel it as much as possible.
And that's the other thing. In hospital, you have to sleep in positions which you would never sleep in.
I remember being so particular about how I had to get my pillows, because basically there was this one nurse who was on a night shift and I couldn't get to sleep. I was in so much pain, and you're also getting woken up every like 4 hours for them to like
alarms as well,
do your obs, and yeah, half asleep, still like woozy from anaesthetic and high on morphine. And I just remember this nurse coming over and just like shoving pillows around me and just like hoisting me up and like doing all of this. And then suddenly I was just like there like this, and I was like, oh my God, I feel amazing. I feel so comfortable. I felt like I was in a throne, but I didn't have any movement to like turn around and see what she'd done.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
I want to replicate it, but I can't.
And so I just like fell asleep, just like, okay, great, I'm in my throne now.
I'm gonna make it hard for you to edit.
I'm not editing it, so it's fine. Sorry, Ariel.
Did you have PTSD?
No.
See, I think...
I don't want to as well. I need to go to therapy. I still need to do that.
You do need to do that.
I do need to go
like,
to therapy.
I got PTSD 10 years after. I think I only got PTSD and then therapy because I never let myself be angry and sad. And I think that's the main thing I told you when we went for lunch. I was like, be angry, be sad, be whatever you want to be. Just don't hold it in.
The second surgery I had, I definitely like had an experience with that, because the day before I got discharged was my boyfriend's birthday and I was in hospital. And I just broke.
Yeah.
I just like completely broke down. And then in the like following days after I got discharged and I was home, I would just like cry every day.
Yeah.
I'm just like, why is this happening to me? I remember like the day I got discharged, I was on such an like adrenaline rush that I kept on asking my parents to get like a boomerang of me walking out of the hospital, and they kept on getting it wrong. And so I was like walking back and forth, and like this is the most I've walked in a month.
Yeah.
And my parents are like, oh my God, she's walking and she's standing up and she's like full of energy, and like, oh my God, what's happening? And then the moment we got back to Dan's dad's house, I just crashed.
You're like,
I was just like, and
yeah,
all my energy for the next 2 days has been spent.
I remember when I left hospital, I was getting into my mum's car and it was an SUV, and for the first time I was like, oh, like, because you have to like climb up, and I was like, I've never noticed that this is a step and this is like, and so, like I literally was like pulling myself into the, and everyone had to like lift me into the car.
Yeah.
And it's things like that which you don't realise in terms of like accessibility until it happens to you, and you're a bit like, wow, even getting into a car is hard.
On that note, thank you, Michelle, so much.
Thanks for having me.
For chatting all about surgery on my channel. If you've ever had surgery, or a friend who's had surgery or whatever, please let us know in the comments your experience with that. Do you have a hairy belly or a hairy other part of your body that, where you had your surgery? Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Make sure you go over to Michelle's channel, because we did a video over there all about casual sex and STIs and stigma and all of that good stuff, bad stuff, all of that stuff. And don't forget to subscribe, because there'll be a new video tomorrow because it's Vlognica. Happy Hanukkah. Right.
Happy Hanukkah.
Feels very weird saying that. It's November. Bye.
Bye.